Fabrizio Romano has claimed that Chukwuemeka is now set to stay at Chelsea this season. He told Caught Offside that the midfielder will remain at the club despite Moises Caicedo recently joining the club. Mauricio Pochettino put plenty of faith in Chukwuemeka to start the opening Premier League fixture of the season against Liverpool. He was chosen after Christopher Nkunku suffered a knee injury in the final preseason friendly against Borussia Dortmund. The severity proved to be unfortunately high, and he may not play for the Blues again this year. This has created a big opportunity for the Englishman, who has not had too many opportunities since the £20 million move from Aston Villa. Now, Romano has claimed that he is likely to stay at the club even with the imminent and already confirmed arrivals at Stamford Bridge. He said, "Despite two new arrivals in midfield, I see Chukwuemeka staying at Chelsea as Mauricio Pochettino is very happy with him." For Conor Gallagher, a move could be possible, but it depends on the proposals they get. The Blues finally put an end to the Caicedo saga at last on Monday night. It had been a summer of intense negotiations with Brighton. The deal faced late drama too, as Liverpool actually agreed a deal with the Seagulls before Chelsea actually did. However, he made it clear that he only wanted to join the Blues, and therefore turned down an offer to go to Anfield and complete a medical. Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez made his debut at Stamford Bridge against Liverpool, and journalist Paul Brown has revealed his verdict on his performance to GimSport. Mauricio Pochettino needed to sign a new goalkeeper after Edouard Mendy left the club, and Sanchez has come straight in as number one. Sanchez signed for the Blues for a fee of £25 million, and you'd imagine the Spaniard wouldn't have signed on the dotted line without assurances that he'd be the number one. The 25-year-old, as mentioned, made his debut for Chelsea against Liverpool at the weekend, but the Merseyside club barely tested him throughout. As per FOTMob, Sanchez failed to make a save, conceding once, and journalist Brown has provided his verdict on Sanchez's performance at Stamford Bridge. Brown has suggested that he was slightly surprised to see Kepa leave the club to join Spanish giants Real Madrid. The journalist adds that he didn't feel Sanchez looked entirely comfortable during his debut against Liverpool. Speaking to GimSport, he said, "It was a bit of a surprise to see them let Kepa go, because he had become their number one last season. It is going to be interesting to see what they do there, but I don't think Chelsea are in a position to sign another goalkeeper, so it looks like they're going with that they've got. Sanchez didn't look entirely comfortable to me in the game at the weekend, but he's learning the ropes at a new club there." Brighton CEO Paul Barber has explained why Moises Caicedo snubbed Liverpool for Chelsea and admits the decision left the South Coast club in a difficult position. In a stunning twist, Caicedo rejected a move to Anfield after Liverpool agreed a British record £111 million deal with Brighton as he was desperate to sign for Chelsea. Brighton quickly began negotiations with Chelsea after the Liverpool deal fell through and agreed a £115 million transfer with the Blues, making Caicedo the most expensive signing in Premier League history. Discussing the transfer saga for the first time, Brighton's Barber told TalkSport, "Liverpool's a fantastic football club. For any footballer to have the chance to play at Liverpool, you'd imagine that they'd be running up the M6, but it wasn't to be. Moises and his advisors decided for whatever reason that London was their preferred destination, and ultimately Chelsea. Obviously that puts us in a slightly difficult position because we've negotiated a deal. We'd spent many days working with Liverpool. They couldn't have done any more. They were superb and professional throughout. But then it comes down to the player. At the point that it was clear he wasn't going to Liverpool, we have to go into a different mode. Having negotiated a British record transfer, we have to do it again 3 days later." Posting on Instagram, the 21-year-old added, "Today I close an unforgettable chapter in my life. Since my first steps in Europe, you showered me with love and support." Chelsea are seemingly competing for almost every player on the planet as they look to add new names to their squad for the 2023-24 season. With Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia the two highest profile targets at this stage, Michael Olise remains on the cards whilst Brighton are yet to confirm Mohamed Kudus, and a new goalkeeper is also in order. It all bodes for an extremely interesting final 3 weeks of the summer window. One player they have long been after but failed to sign is Ousmane Dembele. The tricky winger was in the mix to arrive in 2022 under Thomas Tuchel as he looked to reunite with a player that had shone at Borussia Dortmund. As Dembele's contract at Barcelona wound down, ending in June last year, Chelsea made their move to snap him up. Chelsea have made the most recent bid, one that is reportedly above the £50 million, $64 million valuation threshold, but what comes next is far from clear. Personal terms with either side are not expected to be an issue, however the same was thought for Caicedo before he threw the proverbial into the fan, saying that he only wanted Chelsea. Some reports suggest that a medical had been booked in for Lavia after an agreement was reached between Saints and Chelsea, but David Ornstein has denied such claims. He says that neither side have agreed a deal and that things are back in the balance. Meanwhile, he also says that the plan for Caicedo and Liverpool was for the 21-year-old to have a medical on Friday, but that is now out of the window. Chelsea have been encouraged to sign one more midfielder before the summer transfer window slams shut. Following the departures of N'Golo Kante, Mateo Kovacic, and Mason Mount, Mauricio Pochettino found himself short on options in the middle of the park. At first, it seemed as if the Blues would simply promote Cesare Caicedo and Andre Santos to the first team following loan spells at Reading and Vasco da Gama, respectively. The duo were heavily involved during Chelsea's preseason tour of the United States, and they impressed. But, despite their best efforts, the West Londoners were still missing a world-class ball winner who could free Enzo Fernandez from the shackles of the holding midfield role. So, Chelsea entered the market and they quickly got their hands on Leslie Ugachukwu from Rennes. Like Caicedo and Santos, the 19-year-old has tremendous potential, but Pochettino was clearly after somebody with Premier League experience. So, the Blues accelerated their pursuits for Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. Chelsea snatched the former from Liverpool's grasp, with the latter expected to follow him through the doors at Stamford Bridge. While the West Londoners look set to sign two excellent young players, William Gallows believes that Pochettino's midfield is still missing something, a senior figurehead. In an interview with Gente Casino, the Frenchman said, "The policy of Chelsea is to take on the best young players in the world at the moment. Lavia is 19, but I'm not sure why Chelsea are only looking at young players. With only young players, you cannot win the Premier League, as you need experience. Chelsea will not win the Premier League this season. The signings of Lavia and Caicedo are good, but they are for the future.